we did hear back from Atheist in Minivan. William knew that they were in the same city because originally her city was listed on her profile and on the Iron Chariots profile.
Oh.
So that's been changed.
Okay.
Mystery solved.
So is William still listening to our show? Anybody know?
Let that be a lesson to you.
I don't know.
That would be weird, because that's like, I mean, I have no idea how many believers we have listening to the show.
This is the first real fire and brimstone fundamentalist that I've ever heard of actually listening to our show.
Yeah.
There were other religious types.
But apparently why is he listening to us if he doesn't need to know us to know all about us?
I don't know. That's very mysterious. Okay, let's stick a proper fork into my last topic. Great. Well, if there were other people that she was criticizing, people that took it way farther than I did with mere initial skeptical reaction, then okay, maybe I'm off base here, and if so, I apologize. Let's move on.
All right.
Letters from listeners?
Well, actually, during all that discussion, there was more in the chat room that was actually answers to you that I couldn't possibly get back and forth.
Oh boy, it goes on.
No, but essentially.
Well, let the listeners have some say.
Yeah, what do we got?
Give us a selection.
Well, some of this was coming from Atheist in Minivan, that the people that pissed her off were the ones who were calling her depressed. And that there's a difference, somebody's pointed out, between skepticism, which is, did an 11-year-old really write this, and insult, which is, this is fraud, you're a liar.
Yeah,
and
I wish that in what she wrote, she had said that she was talking about people that called her depressed, or people who called her a liar.
But she did.
If you had read all the comments, then you probably would have had that.
I read that.
Here's the direct quote from her thing. But because I choose to practice words rather than walkovers, I'm labeled a fraud. That was what she said. That's who she's talking to. Nowhere does she mention skepticism in this post at all. She's talking about the people who labeled her fraud.
We can set that specific issue aside, but I do feel that we can set the specific instance aside, but I do think there's an issue here that is worth some more discussion, right? Because I'm not at all clear. I mean, I know you can be rude about your skepticism, right? That is a difference between me and those other people. But as far as being skeptical, implying that therefore something must be going on underhanded, what, Dennis?
It's the difference between skepticism and a counterclaim. They are not saying that she's a fraud because they're skeptical. They're saying she's a fraud because they're saying that she's a fraud because they're making an arbitrary claim.
But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? But if somebody expresses skepticism and their skepticism is apt and if they're correct, then something else is going on, right?
Right. It's irrelevant.
Is it?
Yes. It's not what she's talking about.
You don't think when you don't this is why I'm bringing this up.
Did you call her a fraud?
This is worth some discussion. I didn't use those words. Does that make a difference?
Yes.
What are all the other possibilities?
You did not make a counterclaim. You did not say she did not write that.
As far as I remember, you asked a question, which is, boy, that's written really well. Are we sure that it was really written by
you asked a
11-year-old
question,
girl?
you didn't make a claim.
It's kind of the difference, and this is spiraling off into atheism in a way that may not be.
Fundamentally different.
But it's similar to, I'm skeptical, I doubt the existence of a God, and the counterclaim, there absolutely is no God. Now, you may have justification for either, but in this case, what she's talking about are the people who don't have a justification for counterclaims, saying you're a fraud, who were being rude, calling her depressed, attacking her mother, things like that. And she's got no way of proving, any of it without, coming out. I don't know. Maybe we can get the teacher involved. Maybe the teacher is properly shamed enough to say, yes, this really happened, and one of my 12-year-old students did make me look incredibly foolish. Unfortunately, I still don't have a fucking clue. But, you know, I don't think we're going to get the teacher to admit that.
I gotta say also that somebody in this thread used the word sock puppet, and this is actually not uncommon. There was actually at one point toward the end, somebody started to suggest that William was so over the top that they thought he must be a sock puppet, and a sock.
Ironic.
Yeah, which is. You know, pretty funny, but I mean, there was an actual case for one of my grad student projects. I did a study on the relation between gun control and crime rates in various places, and there was this one guy that the NRA loves to quote named John Lott, who did a badly flawed study on this subject. And when people started criticizing him on the internet, suddenly this new character popped up on Usenet named Mary Roche. And she started saying, you shouldn't criticize my professor like this. I've had him, and he's a very honest and forthright guy, and one of the best professors I've ever had. And somebody actually traced back Mary Roche's IP address and figured out that Mary Roche was, in fact, John Lott, which he later admitted to.
That's awesome.
So I'm just saying this isn't without precedent, which I guess bolsters Jeff's point.
What do you think my point is?
That it's appropriate to be skeptical of things on the internet.
Yeah.
But
that goes without saying.
Yeah, I want to figure out why you got mad, Dennis.
What?
You really got pissed off.
You kept hammering on this irrelevant issue.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Now, I get. I mean, I liked what you were saying, where you were comparing this to atheists declining to believe as opposed to asserting knowledge.
Yeah, that was Matt. Yeah.
It was Matt. Okay. Yeah, but from the point of view, maybe this situation has given me, more empathy for the people on the other end, because here's this little girl, and when people react with skepticism, I mean, how is she supposed to take it?
Well, she can take it as skepticism. That's fine.
But if she knows she wrote this thing, and she'd like credit for what she's done,
right?
And some dickweed comes along and says, "Gee, I'm not sure I can believe that was written by that person."
No, the dickweeds didn't say, "Gee, I'm not sure."
But they didn't say that. That's not who she's talking to.
You're not the dickweed here, Jeff.
Yeah.
But the people that went further just said, okay, given that I don't believe that this was written by this little girl, then what do I say? And then they went on with a bunch of rude and insulting things. But there is a line, right? The line between saying much worse things.
No, it's not. It's a fundamental difference. It's not a gradual
See, here
thing.
You're mad again. Why are you mad?
No,
it's a degree of frustration, it's a degree of frustration.
Maybe you're excited, and you don't get excited that much.
I'm frustrated because you're not understanding anything I'm saying.
It's a degree of frustration which is also shared by the chat room that we spent way too much fucking time on.
Yeah. Let's move on to something else.
Does everybody get that Jeff is embarrassed?